I am, of course, SNG, and this is, of course,
Russ. Welcome, guys. Welcome.
Welcome. Of course, our channel is powered by Ren Group, Ren Financing and Investments Limited. Access your future today. So whatever your future plans, whatever your future goals are, definitely send us a message, give us a call, shoot us a WhatsApp or telephone numbers, email addresses, and so on will be listed in the details below. Access your future today with Ren Financing and Investments Limited. Also, Ren Korea. You know, you have those small packages that you want to be delivered in and around Kingston and St. Andrew. You know, give us a call. Same details below, and we will get those packages delivered for you. Now, one of the most important things for you today. If you have an online business, whether you're in Kingston, St. Catherine, Montego Bay, wherever you are, you know, give us a call at Ren Business Solutions. Now, here's what we have for you. If you have a business in Montego Bay, anywhere outside of Kingston, and you want fast, safe, and efficient delivery or pickup of your goods, you know, call us at Ren Business Solutions. We will do the storage, packaging, and so on for you, and get your products out to your customers. So instead of having to do shipping from Montego Bay, St. Catherine, Clarendon, you know, St. Elizabeth, and so on, of course, go ahead and
Fast service.
Right, so you go ahead and give us a call, shoot us a WhatsApp, text, you know, however it is you want to communicate with us, however you want to get in touch with us, just get in touch and we will get those products out for you. Yes, and also remember that we are also powered by SNG, Business Development and Consultation. Now, you can find us on Instagram. Go ahead and follow us on Instagram. It is at SNG_BDC. Of course, what we do over there at SNG is we provide business consultation. So if it is that you want to start a business, if you don't even know what type of business you want to start, you know, give us a call. Yes, you don't have an idea. You just know that you don't want to be doing the 9 to 5 for the rest of your life.
Become an entrepreneur.
You want to become an entrepreneur. Give us a call. We may have the solution for you. So, as I said, our details are listed in the description below. Call us, text us, WhatsApp us, follow us,
subscribe.
Of course, and you know, and we will be here to serve you.
Tell a friend.
Yes, definitely tell a friend.
But the subscribe, remember to hit the subscribe button.
Yes, tell a friend, tell a family member, you know, whosoever you want to tell, make sure the message gets out there that Ras and SNG have the financial hour for you.
Right here on YouTube.
Go ahead and subscribe, go ahead and share, and make sure that you are dropping your comments. All right, because your feedback really lets us know how to serve you best. Okay, so.
And if the video is good, like.
Yes.
And share.
Of course. All right, so today on the financial hour, what we're going to be definitely looking at is budgeting, right? But before we zoom in on budgeting, we're going to be looking at finance. And of course, we're going to be looking at
synopsis. That's nothing much.
Yeah, not any details on finance right now in this video, but you know, we're still going to be
video here on YouTube. So we want to introduce finance, since that's what we're about, finance and entrepreneurship.
Right. So we're great advocates for that. So you know, we're going to definitely be looking at a little on finance, a little on entrepreneurship, and then we go into the meat of the matter where we discuss budgeting. So we do hope that you will like today's video. We hope that you will learn something, and of course, like I said, you know, you just share in the comment section so we know how we have served you and how we can serve you going forward. So finance, what do you think when you hear the term finance? You know, what is finance? Someone may say it is really how you acquire and you expend money. But what do you think? Let us know in the comment section.
But on the financial order, what we say is that it is the management of how you acquire and spend your money. So really and truly, it is how you manage those affairs. You manage how you get your money and how you manage how you spend your money. That's what finance is really about. Really simple that.
Right. And you know, when discussing finance, you may hear terms like public finance, you may hear corporate finance, and of course you may hear personal finance. Because as an individual, even as a company, you know that the we look at the company as an individual per se. So you know, we definitely have to look at those things: public finance, corporate finance,
and we believe that you yourself,
finance.
you should look at yourself as a business, right? So in becoming an entrepreneur, you need to have that mindset.
Right, so although, as I said, we're going to be looking at budgeting as the main topic today, I'm going to give Ras a couple minutes to, you know, just go ahead and tell us more about these financial terms.
Well, public finance is, as it says, it's public finance. It has to do with how the government of a country deals with its revenue and manages affairs in terms of income in the government coffers and how the money expended from the government coffers. What the corporate finance is, it's have to do with how the business or company finance itself or deal with its money as well. So you look at how the company receive money and how the company also expends its money. And it's similar for personal finance. So personal finance is how you, the individual, deal with your money.
All right, so I hope that you've been noting these things, you've been noting these terms. But what we're going to ask us to do is go a little bit further into personal finance, since, you know, this is the first program that we're going to be doing. And, you know, we just want our viewers to get a full appreciation of their finances.
Well, it's really, all right, as I said, it's how you manage your money in order to achieve your goals. So you can have goals, like you can have financial goals, or you can have other personal goals. So in order to achieve these goals, what do? Right? You may want to set up what we call a portfolio. And in finance, we talk about a portfolio. So your portfolio may include stocks, bonds, real estate, among other financial instruments, derivatives, and so forth. There are a lot of things that your persons, you know, who manage finance. You have a finance consultant or so forth, or a financial advisor can introduce to you. So there's a lot of things that can be in your portfolio, as I said, real estate and so forth. But be mindful though that your portfolio, when it is being structured, it should be determined by your requirements. And also your age. You must look at the age, your earning potential, investments, and investments. Like, I think investments in education is also something you should look at when you're setting up your portfolio. Right? I believe you can invest in your education in one of two ways. Like, education is, you can invest in it directly or indirectly in education itself. Right?
Definitely true. Yeah. That's true.
So right, because in terms of you going to school yourself, that's you directly investing in education. But in terms of you employing somebody who already go to school, I think that's how you indirectly invest in education. So as an entrepreneur, we have to look at it ourselves. Do we need this particular skill, or do we need to purchase it from somebody or invest in somebody who already have that skill? So yes, that's what I look at. So here are some of the things that we believe you should consider when you think about personal financing. One, you have to the management of your incomes, whether they are passive incomes or active incomes. Also, you have to look at how you manage your debt. So remember, you can have a long-term debt, short-term or medium-term debts, right? As well as how you manage your expenses, right? Another thing you should look at is you being ready for your retirement. I'm probably need to say that again. You ready for your retirement. So when you talk about personal finances, these are these things that you need to look at. And of course, I think my favorite thing that I like to say is passing on your wealth to your children or some other generation, right? So if you don't have children, you can pass it on to your nieces and nephew, some other generation, persons coming after you I believe should enjoy what you work for.
Yes. Yes, definitely. A lot of persons look at their legacy.
Really and truly, not really enjoy, but you pass it on to them, but in passing on to them, you need to educate them that they should really invest and reinvest, and so that money can grow more for the person who's coming after them.
Right.
So that's
so a lot of persons look at these things as their legacy, the things that they will leave for their children, grandchildren, even great-grandchildren, and as you say, not just their generation, but other generations. So if they don't even have children, of course, nieces, nephews, siblings, and so on.
Even stranger, you just pass it on the wealth.
Because of course, you can gift things to strangers. Right. All right, but before we move on to budgeting, we're getting there. Taking our little time and getting there. But before we move on, we're going to briefly speak to you about entrepreneurship.
Well, entrepreneurship for us here on the Financial Hour is really about setting up a business and taking on risk in search for a profit. So that's what it is. We think that it is you searching for a profit, but it's you setting up business, right, with the skills or you putting together the skill set that you need to run a business, right? So one thing we must keep in our mind though, right, is that as an entrepreneur, you don't really have to be in the business per se. You don't have to run the business yourself. You can always hire someone to run the business. It go right back to what we were saying earlier about indirect investment in education. If somebody's educated enough can run the business for you and willing to be an entrepreneur, let them do it. However, it is important that we have the cognitive ability, right, to view the organization as a whole, right, and also understand its different parts. So what we mean, right? So you need to, if you are running a business, you need to understand what it really takes for you to get that product or that service to the end user, to your customer, your clients, right? So therefore, if for example your business entails of departments such as a sales department, a marketing department, whatever departments are in your business, HR department, accounting department. So what we are saying here that you have to have the cognitive ability to view those parts as a whole, but in doing so, right, you will be that means that you will understand how these run to get that product to the final, to the end user, how the business actually work, how the different parts work to get it to the end user, right? So you might even need to have partnership with other companies, but that's a different matter. But what you need to understand, have that cognitive ability, right, to understand that's how your company or your business works fully, right, to how these parts come together and work. And also you need to understand the parts, so you need to separate the parts, look in the accounts division, find how it works and how its duty impact the company as a whole, and then separate the sales, the production division, all those divisions. So that's what we are saying. Understand, have that ability to understand how business works.
Right, so definitely dissecting the company, and of course, as Russ pointed out, understanding how the different areas in the company work so that it culminates into one. And
when them come together, how they dovetail.
Beautiful product. Now, one of the most important things we should always take into consideration as entrepreneurs as well is that you have to be consistent in the product that you give or you offer, consistent in the service that you offer. You have to ensure that you are meeting your clients or your customers' needs always, and you're exceeding those needs. One of the most beautiful things too is customer service. Make sure that your customer service is top tier, because your customer service, it can really set you above the rest. I remember I was searching for a service, typed in whatever I needed in Google, and I made a couple calls, And it was just the first person to pick up the phone that got the service, that got my business. So customer service also means that you pick up your phone when it rings. You know, there are so many things, but just make sure that you are doing it well, and make sure that you are being consistent, because consistency is key. Another thing is your business, your legacy, your generation, they don't care about how you feel today. Whether you're up, whether you're down, whether you're bubbly, get up, get out, and get it done. Your future self will thank you for that. All right, so stay on top of things as much as it is possible. Always be consistent. Make sure that your customers are being served and they are being served well. All right, so with that being said,
with that being said, what was just said was all about satisfying your customer, delighting your customer.
Yes, so we're gonna jump to the meat of the matter, budgeting.
Oh, that's what we're here for today, to speak about, to look at budgeting, budget for all of our benefits. So you who are there in YouTube watching now, we hope that you will definitely benefit from the material we're about to present on budget.
All right, so
budgeting.
Yes, budgeting. Now here on the Financial Hour, we said it is simply a plan you make for your income and your expenditure. It's really as simple as that. A plan that you make for your income and your expenditure. Now, one of the things that I want to know, and make sure you comment, all right, I'm looking forward for those comments. Do you believe you can plan for the amount of income you receive each month, whether you get your income per month or you get it weekly or fortnightly? Do you honestly believe that you can plan for the amount of income that you receive? Let me know in the comment section. All right, so Ross, what do you think?
Well, absolutely. I think that we can plan for we must or we should plan for both our income and our expenditures, right? But most people in our society, when they think of budgeting, their focus really is on expenditure.
Yes.
So only the expenses matters, and we look at our expenses because of the type of income we have. So how they will spend their income, that's all persons look at when they talk about budgeting generally in our society. But why should we really and truly only think about expenditures, our expenses? Right? How beneficial is that, opposed to thinking really about your income and your expenses, right? In the sense that you want to improve your income and of course decrease or reduce your expenditures. So that's how we want to look at why you should do your budget. Remember, the aim when you do your budget is to do what? Improve your income and reduce your expenses. Right?
All right, so let us talk about it right now. All right, so let us look at your budget. We're going to be looking at it both traditionally and of course the way it was mentioned earlier. So, all right, traditional, this is what happens. We are encouraged to take our fixed income. So for argument's sake, our salary or pay, we are encouraged to take that and look at what we'll be spending on for the month or for the week, for the fortnight, depending on when you get paid.
Yeah.
And so now we can say we receive a salary, right? Or expenses, for example, would be rent, electricity, water, charges, so many expenses, right? So recognize that we have fixed expenses and we have variable expenses.
Right.
And what we want to do is to look at the different expenses. So
all right. We do have fixed expenses and variable expenses. We do have that, and we will look. It's good for us to discuss that. But before you discuss that, what about income in terms of variable incomes? We know a lot of persons we only get fixed income, which is just our salary, right? Which is just our salary. But what about if we can get variable income. But variable income exists. You have still a person who get variable incomes. So you have persons that are paid, like for example, persons who get commission, or persons who get hourly pay or tips. Right? Those persons would understand what I'm talking about, the concept of variable income. Those persons' income variable. And in fact, some of those persons, they don't get an income if they don't go to work.
Yes.
Right? But I am not talking about these persons only though. Right? So what about us as an entrepreneur, intrapreneur, or even 9 to 5, regular 9 to 5 wages paid, salary and wages paid workers, right? So I think just like a corporation or a business we can do it as well. So we should budget. We should budget for income, because if you should do an interview with any major corporation, they will let you know that they have a budget, but that budget also look at their income, right? So as an individual who's an entrepreneur or a 9 to 5 worker, you should also think about your income and budget for your income. So to increase your income also. So would that be, you want to look at it from a monthly standpoint or quarterly standpoint or yearly standpoint, because you have some persons who they probably have 2 or 3 jobs, right? So they end up now getting different income. Some of them have a commission bid, the regular paid salary income, and they have a commission bid or a tip, you know. So we have to look at income very seriously, Jamaica, very seriously, well, international. But we have to look at income in a way that we ought to. No, so it would be a very good if we could forestall and improve our income, right? Like how we anticipate the reductions in our expenditures. That's what I am saying.
Right, that would really be very good. But no, normally, when somebody prepares their budget, there are benefits to be derived from that. So
definitely.
Of course, this is the reason why it is important for you to prepare a budget. Now, one for one, it helps you to determine how much of your income you can save, for example, to reach a particular goal that you have. And it also helps with management of your expenditure. Your budget shows you where you can cut down, where to cut down first, how much, and so on. So it is, of course, very, very important to get up, go out there and prepare your budget. So hope that by the end of today's program, somebody, or 5 or 10, maybe even 100, will get into the habit of budget preparation and sticking to that budget preparation as well.
Please get into the habit of preparing your budget and sticking to it, because there's a lot of benefits for that. Budget is good for everyone, and I want to say this again. Budgeting, making up of a budget, is good for everyone.
Right. It doesn't matter how young you are. It doesn't matter how aged you are,
how rich you are, or how much you need money.
Right. Budgeting is good for everybody. I remember having a conversation with a group of persons, and they were saying, but I literally am not getting anything on my pay. So how do I go ahead and how do I budget for nothing? But today on the Financial Hour, we're going to be addressing that as well. And as we said just now, budgeting is for everybody. So just a couple of benefits that will be derived from doing up your monthly, weekly, fortnightly budget. For one, it helps you to prepare for a rainy day. These are things that
accidents do happen.
Yes, accidents do happen, and you want to make sure that if you have to rush yourself or your child or your somebody else to the doctor, you can do that without having to scratch your head, or without having to be nitpicking and wondering where will you be getting that money from. No, the other thing is that it helps you to manage your financial affairs. Now listen, the practice of budgeting will encourage financial discipline, right?
Correct.
And financial discipline is something that we want everybody to hone. Now, as a result, in you becoming more financially efficient and responsible. So which of course this is definitely a great asset when you are striving for your financial goal, you know. So set down, if you don't have a financial goal yet, right now is the time to set down those financial goals. So you get yourself disciplined, you act financially responsible, you be financially responsible. And listen, one of the things that I preach day in, day out, delayed gratification, right? You definitely need to be financially responsible. It means therefore that you're not gonna get up and go every jump on and knock, you're not go. You go to some places and you leave some things alone, right? You don't have to purchase everything that comes out. You know, your friend is started a new company. You can purchase a product or two, but it doesn't mean that every month you need to be purchasing these products. How can you support the business? Share the business. Get persons to purchase, get persons to access the services, you know. So you don't have to get up and to be buying everything every month, every week. You need a new this and you need a new that. I mean, style up the things that you have. Try to enjoy being home sometimes. Being home sometimes is good, you know. So delay the gratification.
Right. So a financial goal, well, you have to determine your financial goal in terms of you know, you might want to set a financial goal to say, you know, how much income you want to have in X time coming into you in X time, you know, in whether it be 5 years, 3 years, 10 years time, you have a particular set of income. So now that will be a financial goal, and now you have to look at the strategy in attaining that goal, or the strategies in attaining that goal. So it is good though, it is a good aid, you know. Continue the tips of budgeting. It's a good aid in management of your debt management. It's a very good thing to help you manage your debt, the budget, right? It can also be used to, guess what, not just manage the debt, you know, but also to avoid the debt, right? And you know, as a member of REN Financing, is an institution to provide needed financing. You know, it's good to be able to manage the debt. I'm telling you, managing the debt is very good, but avoiding the debt is even better.
Right. No, and a good budget will seek to ensure that your disposable income is greater, far greater than your expenditures.
Right. So when I say avoiding debt, you know, I mean like you don't have a debt, not that you have debt and don't pay it. That is where you manage your debt, pay your debt. All right. So it is also a good it is good for you to use a budget, right, when you seek to achieve your long-term, medium-term, and short-term goals. So not just a financial goals, but you have personal goals too. We understand that.
Right, definitely. So what we're going to be looking at right now are ways in which you prepare your budget. How exactly you prepare your budget, all right? And first we must point out that there are many ways to do so, right? But in other words, the budget is a process that can be done in different ways, all right? So
several ways that you could do a budget.
These days though, you might realize that you'll be able to find a budgeting app, a budget spreadsheet, or a worksheet. You know, there are different tools out there that will help you to prepare your budget. And today on the Financial Hour, we're going to help you to do that.
Yeah, however, to have a good picture of your financial position or your financial situation, you need to do the following, right? So this is how we believe on the Financial Hour, that you should prepare your budget. You know, we are giving you our own synopsis, our viewpoint on how and what you should do in order to prepare your budget. Yes. Alright, so first we think you should put all your documents together, all your records together with regards to your income and your expenses. Right, put all of them together. So therefore, if you never did save those documents, like when you buy something and throw the receipt, start save them now. Start save them because they're important for your life going forward. As we would say in Jamaica and Creole, for your life going forward. So save all your documents and your check stubs, your call it pay slips,
Receipts.
right? Anything, anywhere you get any income from, record it, write it down, save it. So it's very important. So I put all those documents together, right? So entertainment, where you go out, you save your receipts, your food bills, everything. Save all those documentations.
Right, and of course, in some cases, you know, you may have a one-off income, right, or a one-off expense. No, it is important, very, very important that you include them in your budget as well, in order to have a good picture of how much money is coming in to your pocket, as well as how much money is going out. So of course, as Ross pointed out, you need to save those things, and even for the one-off expenses, the one-off income, you need to document those as well.
Yes.
Right? Now, after you've gathered the data, you can now analyze the information. So you get all your receipts, you get your different income paper, your pay slips, your tips, stubs, your commission stubs,
write
you know,
them
everything.
down, or put them in an Excel spreadsheet.
Put them down,
Put
right?
them somewhere where you can
Put them
see
in the Excel sheet, or even the budget app. You know,
Right.
you put them down so you document all of those, and then you analyze the information in order to put your budget together.
Correct.
Because this will create a very firm, a very strong foundation for your financial future, and you need to be securing a firm financial future, not just for yourself, but for your
Generational
generation.
So it's about creating generational wealth.
Yes.
And it has to start somewhere. Just follow this program and you'll probably get a rough idea. But it's always good to contact SNG, Business Development and Consultation.
Right. So, of course, as I pointed out, the numbers and email addresses will be in the link provided below.
Right. And continuing on the budget, but it is really good to look at your budget from a monthly standpoint. You can look at budget from any period you want, like weekly, fortnightly, quarterly, half yearly, yearly. But we are recommending that you do it despite how you get paid, you do a monthly budget. That's what we are recommending here.
Alright, so you may start to look at your budgeting by putting together information on your income. Alright, so you get the income information as we mentioned earlier, you put those together.
Yes.
Well, we've been throwing this term around income. So for those who don't know, just to let you know, here on the Financial Hour, when we talk about income, we're talking about the money or any other asset, right? Of value
Yes.
that you can get from your work or your labor, from your investment, or as a gift.
Correct.
So any money or asset of value that you get from your work or from your investment, or that you get as a gift. That's what we're talking about when we mention income.
And I hope you are taking notes, because when you come to this channel, you should come with your pen and your note.
I mean, we
But you
have a
really
wealth
know,
of
apply
knowledge that
these knowledge to your
we want
everyday
to
life.
impart, right?
That we expect. So in order to establish, so we're looking at it based on our example that we're going to give. We are doing our synopsis of our budget monthly, in terms of monthly. As we said, we believe it's best to do your budget on a monthly basis. Doesn't matter how you get your incomes, right? So we're only trying to make it simplified, you know, of what we think. So hopefully you drop your comments to say if it was simpler and you understand, you know, tell us if it wasn't that good enough. You want us to probably try and deliver it differently. Let us know and we will try to address your comments. But in order to establish your monthly or our monthly disposable income, right, we must look at all the different income streams that we receive. But for ease of reference though, as I was saying, we're going to look at a salary-based paid person. We're going to assume that we are being paid a salary, alright? So or for commission-based person, we're going to be assumed that we are being paid salary or commission-based. So we know, to do the example of a budget, to give you a good picture, we're not going to include investment incomes and all those other incomes that you might get, gifts or inheritance. We're not going to include those. We're just looking at from a person who get paid from a salary perspective or commission or so forth.
Right.
So, so if you get your pay weekly, so you are being paid weekly, and you want to establish your monthly pay, you may multiply your net pay now, right? By 52 weeks, or 52, which represent 52 weeks, right? Which is the number of weeks we have per year. And then you divide that answer, whatever your answer is, by 12. Right? And then whatever the result is, then when that is your disposable income for the month. So this is if you get paid weekly. And because it's 52 days in a
52 weeks.
Sorry, 52 weeks in the year. That's why you divide it by that.
Right. Let's say that your pay fluctuates, right? You may establish an estimated monthly income, since we have 4 quarters in a year, and each quarter is made up of 3 months.
Yes.
So, I think it's okay to use 3 months to determine your monthly income in this case.
I agree.
You agree?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Okay, awesome. So you may add up the 3 previous months' income. So for example, January, February, March, you add those income and then you divide the results by 3, and whatever your answer is, that's the estimated income. All right. So let us jump to fortnightly.
Well, if you get paid fortnightly, all right. So fortnightly. So it's 26 fortnights in a year, correct?
Yes.
So if you get paid fortnightly, what you would do, you multiply that pay, that fortnight pay that you receive. Of course, we're talking about the disposable now, your net pay, by 26, and then you divide that by 12, and you will have your monthly disposable income, the income that you have to spend, to use, to get the entertainment, to pay your bills, like utilities. That's what we're working with. So whatever that is, that's what your monthly one will be. So remember, we are showing you how to bring your income to a monthly figure, because that's the example that we are giving. Because we believe it's best to do your budget from a monthly basis.
Right. All right. So we looked at the weekly. We looked at if your pay fluctuates, and we looked at your fortnightly in terms of the income you receive. So now, remember, we're doing your budget. So we've looked at the income. What we're going to look at now is the expenses. All right. Now, after you've ascertained the monthly income like we just did, so remember, get your last 3 months pay slip, get your weekly pay slip. Remember the calculations, and after you have ascertained the monthly income, it is now time, of course, to look at the expenses. Right.
So that is whether you get fluctuating pay based on what SNG is explaining, or I get a fixed monthly income, or I get pay fortnightly. So we give different examples.
Yes.
So if I get a fixed monthly income, we give examples if I get commission based or tips or hourly fluctuating pay, and we give it example for your income if you get paid fortnightly. And now we are going into
Your
expenses. But earlier we did mention that you should get all your income and your expenses documentation, right? So what we are saying, just for clarity, you want to do them by month. We are recommending that you do it by month. So when you get all those documentation, you get them per month. You can put them in an envelope, in a bag, and just write whichever month. May, January, February, March, April, May. Put them in that package monthly, and then you can go through the process.
Right. So you're gonna pull out your envelope for this month, and so you pull out the envelope for this month, January or February, March, April, May, whichever, and you look at the rent payment, the car payment, or some persons call it car note, the mortgages, food bill, whatever your expenses are. But before we even go deeply into that, just a side note, on the financial hour, we look at your expense as the money or other assets you spend, you use or gift, and it doesn't generate a return. So if you use this money, if you use this asset, if you spend or you gift it and it does not generate a return, of course it is an expense. So every expense, so if it is that you gave somebody something, you note it and then you put it in the expense jar or envelope or so for the month, so that at the end of the month, you know what you've spent on. You have that information on your expenses for that particular month.
So for clarity, your expense is anything that you use your money or any other asset to do that that you're not expecting to get back or to get anything from.
Right.
That's it. They get the utility. If it's a product you purchase, they get the utility of the product.
Right.
Right. So that's what your expenses are. Just for clarity. So earlier though, we mentioned that expenses can be either fixed or variable.
Right.
But it's also good. It is extremely good for us to identify which of our expenses are fixed, opposed to which one are them variable. Yes. Right? As I believe, this will help you to achieve your goals. So if you know which one is fixed, so stationary, and which one keep moving, variable. That's what it is. So one, the stationary, not moving, and a set of expense are they fluctuate. They move based on your usage. So your fixed expenses are those that do not change or move, stationary, as I said. So each month, while your variable changes over the course of the time or the course of the month or so forth. So it change with your consumption or with your usage. So that's a variable expense move with your usage.
Right. And you want to have your fixed expenses taking up less of your budget than your variable expenses. And this is because you want more room for adjustment, really. No, your fixed expenses, usually create less of a room for any sort of adjustment on your budget. So you want to have less fixed expenses than you have variable expenses.
Right.
And of course your fixed expenses are really those expenses that they don't change easily, right? So usually we look at a time period of a year.
Yeah, usually
right.
When you're looking at these
so
things,
these are the expenses that they don't change within the year. So for example, your fixed expenses are really your car payment, your rent, your mortgages, life insurance. Usually those type of expenses are your fixed expenses.
Yeah. So depending on the agreement, for example, for your car payments or your mortgages, depending on the agreement that you sign with the bank. But generally, those things don't change
within a year.
Right.
Right. So you want to have less of those taking up your budget than variable expenses.
While variable expenses are usually, as I said, usually changes, it usually fluctuates. So therefore, they change based on, as I said earlier, your consumption, your usage. So some example of these are your entertainment. How much for the month you want to entertain yourself, and also your water charges, how often you use the water, your electricity, your food costs. Those things fluctuates. So it's based on how you use these things or enjoy these things. That's how you are generally charged.
Yes.
So after you establish your monthly income and expenses, it's time for you to add up the income, add up your expenses, and subtract the expenses from your income. Right. If your expenses though is greater than your income, so you need to look at improving your income and reducing your expenses. If you have a surplus, meaning that your income is greater than your expenses, right? You will probably jumping up and say, yeah, that would be good. But it would only be good for us at the financial hour if what the surplus that you attain actually is your financial goal.
Yes.
That's the surplus you wanted to attain. So if you get let's say you get 100,000 surplus, and that's what your financial goal. So at the end of the month, I want to when I finish my budgeting, I want to get 100,000 surplus. So your budgeting show that you will get that, and then at the end of the month, the actual income and expenditure you reflect that, then therefore that will be good. But if not, then you would have to do some more adjustments.
Right.
In your incomes and your expenditure. You have to try to get more adjustments. In this case, I think mostly in your expenditure, or you go out and get other incomes.
Yes. Yes, definitely. Okay, so alright, so what we're gonna do now is actually provide some tips for you on your budgeting. So some budgeting tips, as I mentioned, some persons will say, how do I budget from nothing? So this is what you're gonna do. The first thing is pay attention to your debts. Alright, so your budget must be designed in a way that it helps you, of course, to service your debts. Whatever debts you have, your budget must be servicing those debts. Now, in order for you, of course, to not have unpaid balances, because you don't want to be having interest increasing, you don't want to be running up yourself in a rut. So make sure that your budget is servicing all those debts that you have. The other thing is that your budget should also help you to not have any debts. And of course, we pointed that out very early in the program. Try to avoid having those debts. So one, it should be servicing the debts. It should be helping you to reduce them, and of course, over time, not having any at all.
Mm-hmm. So another tip that we have here on the financial hour is use cash, right? So but we have to be careful though. You would say use cash, because we do have credit cards and debit cards. They are very convenient, right? They are convenient things, right, to use. It's very good to have those. They are convenient. However, they come at a cost. Yes. Right, there's a cost to use these things. So while we are saying use cash, we still have to remember the security of the safety in for you as well when you use cash. So some persons, they use a debit card and a credit card to do every little purchases. You're purchasing something for probably $2,000 or a little bit more. You're using your credit card or your debit card, and you're going to pay. You're paying some charges on your debit card or your credit card for $2,000. So we are not saying enough to use a debit card or a credit card anytime at all. We are not saying that. But we are saying where it's necessary, you use a debit card, and where it's not, or a credit card, and where it's not necessary, you don't use them, you use cash. So in small payments, some persons do like 10 small payments and they're using their credit card or their debit card, right?
With
so
10
at point of sales machine, when it could be like
charges.
$2,000 you have to pay cash, or $3,000, they don't look at it. The charges that you might pay on these cards, it might not work it afterwards. So use cash where it's necessary.
Yes. The other thing is that you need to restrain yourself. Seriously, you do need to restrain yourself. So let's look at the example that Russ pointed out earlier. You use your credit card, you use your debit card, and we have to be frank. There are charges, that comes with these things. So it can be $10 something, $2.58, $20 or $35. It doesn't even really matter. But at the end of the day, those $2 compound. Let them compound in buying your yacht. Let them compound in you getting your new home, your dream car, stuff like that. So restrain yourself. Don't buy things that you don't need simply because, I got a raise in my pay, or because it's luxurious. Restrain yourself. Don't buy little things just because you can.
Yeah, restrain yourself. Don't go out there and just buy things because you have the funds or because you see someone with that particular gadget or shoes or whatever. Restrain yourself. It's best to have that money, invest, and keep reinvesting, right? Consolidate your debt if you have to. So it's good to consolidate your debt, right? Consolidate your debt, right? Remember,
so
consolidate.
as long as you have to, truncate them, consolidate
So
them.
what that does though, that give you some room when usually when you consolidate it give you some room in your income, especially for us fixed income persons. So it give you some room there to your salary. You might now paying a little less, right? So it free up some. So don't that free space they get from the consolidation. That's what consolidation should do. You need to use it wisely, invest
Right,
it.
so save over time and then invest.
Because
you don't want to just save, and so invest that free that
a space they get
space
after
that
consolidation.
you've gotten after the consolidation. Yeah. So that was our very last point for today, and we really appreciate you being here with us on the Financial Hour. Of course, I am the lovely SNG, and this is Ras.
Yes, I am Ras.
Yes. So remember to like our videos, subscribe to our channel, and to share with as many persons as possible. Whosoever need these tips, whosoever need to be saved, share with somebody. And of course, as we said, comment to let us know what topic you may want us to look at, how we can serve you even better going forward.
And tell us how was this video.
Right. Thank you again for tuning in to our video. We look forward to seeing you next time.
Yes, and next video that we will drop here will be on income. So tune in, share, subscribe. So when the video on income drop, you'll be the first to see.